All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming back to another episode of Let's Talk Lake County. I'm your host, David Rich. We have three very special and reoccurring guests on today. We have Erin Weinstein, who's a lawyer, as that's why she's here today. She's also the Lake County Circuit Court clerk. Hello, Erin.
Hi.
Hello. And her fabulous husband, David Weinstein, lawyer. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Good. And then we also have Rebecca Whitcombe, who is a lawyer. And if you notice the pattern here, they're all three lawyers. So Rebecca, Erin, and I have been doing this. This is, I think, our third or fourth time doing this. I think third. We're just, we're kind of shooting for once a month if we can make it happen, or whenever. Just to have them on to talk about like legal stuff, ask people to ask questions, and I have some questions for you today to kind of guide the conversation. And then we invited David on because we kind of figure that he can field some of the things outside of the like Rebecca does, specifically family law and that kind of thing, and she knows what she's doing, no doubt. And Erin is a little more specialized too, but David does a lot of different types of law. So we kind of invited him on to kind of like field some of the things otherwise might not be able to be as easily answered. So, okay, cool. Thank you all for coming on. And I want to start with the first question was, let's just get the kind of the basic stuff out of the way. What's the best way to go about getting a will or a trust done to make sure that your kids get all the stuff equally?
It depends on how big your estate is.
Okay, well, she owns her house is probably worth about $400,000. She lives in 8 acres up in Prairie, whatever
Pleasant
it is.
Prairie?
Yeah, Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin.
I mean, it also depends on whether they want to go through probate or not. There are a lot of ways that you can make things immediately transferable to other people on your death. If you don't want to do that, and if you have a sizable estate, which she kind of does, you should get a lawyer to help you.
Like the option is to get like would it be specifically a family law lawyer, or is there a specific contract lawyer?
It's actually an estate lawyer.
Estate,
probate,
trust, probate, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Estate trust. Okay, that's a specific type of lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay.
We always have a saying in the law that I've heard judges say that when you do surgery on yourself, I've had legal problems. I've hired a lawyer, and I'm a lawyer. So, because number one,
a super
it's
basic
hard.
estate. People have been known to, do their own simple wills, but there are requirements. Like in Illinois, for it to be valid, there have to be 2 witnesses and things like that. So you can try to write your own will, but if you're not complying with all those little requirements, it's not going to be held up. So I would say you should always consult with a lawyer.
Person that represents himself, we like to say, is a fool for a client. So.
Yeah.
Oh, David.
I think I've heard that before.
No, I really do.
I've heard that exact phrase before. Like that's some people insist on. I know a guy, Bill something. I don't remember his last name, but like he insisted on defending himself in court all the time. But I mean, he was a pretty smart guy. Maybe he could actually do that. I don't know. But
it usually goes bad. It usually goes really bad.
Yeah, I would imagine law's complicated and nuanced, and like there's areas of the law that like you're not going to be people try to use like the more like common sense arguments to defend themselves, or whatever. And I'm guessing because they don't have where else do they have to draw from, unless you're trained in like formal deductive reasoning or something like that. It's you're going to probably miss a lot of stuff. And even if you're trained in logic. If you're not trained in law proper, you're going to miss stuff, period.
If you go into like any like traffic court or misdemeanor courtroom, you're going to see lots of people representing themselves who don't want to plead guilty, don't want a trial. It's more guilty with an excuse. That's what it is. You see that all the time.
But yeah.
Yes. And that's not in the law. That's,
Right. Well, I didn't mean to drive drunk and, crash into a family of
but I have an excuse.
Minivan. Well, you did. So your intentions aside, you kind of did it anyway. And she has enough money. She can hire a lawyer. So I'll let her know. So thank you. Another thing, this is kind of a little deeper and perhaps darker. I don't know. One person asked me to ask you, like, what case that you've been a part of, that you've dealt with in the past still sticks with you and not a positive way. Like, you know, and obviously you can't name names and stuff like that, but like in a case you like really kind of got inside you and stayed there. Anybody who wants to go first?
I could talk all day about this stuff since I do criminal. So,
Well, if you want to just give like generalities about something, like, you know, I had this one, you know, murder case and it didn't, you know, well.
Well, you know, us lawyers, especially us people who litigate and try cases, we're generally very competitive and we like to win. And when you're doing criminal defense, there's most of your cases you're not going to win.
Right.
You know, and it's hard. If you want to win cases, you become a prosecutor. But that's hard. You have to be able to, you know, realize that there's some times where you're the better lawyer, you out lawyer the other side, and you lose. That's just part of it. So it took me a long time to come to that conclusion when I wouldn't win. That, you know, hey, sometimes it's just not in the cards.
Well, I mean, if you're actually guilty of a crime, and you know the crime is severe enough, I mean, I'm hoping the legal system is structured in a way, at least attempting to be structured in a way where it can get to the truth better than not. Right.
Well, I
found
that
it would be a corrupt system if it's not like that.
Period. A lot of things aren't always black and white, though. There's a whole lot of gray in the middle, and that's in civil and family law too.
I'm hoping at least like 85+%, if not 90%, of cases are more clear than the other 10 to 15. I mean, it can't be the case where they're all like, you know, you only kind of murdered the person. I'm like, you know, you either did or you didn't.
Well, David, also the issue is sentencing too. So, you know, the guilt and innocence might be clear, but what happens to the person isn't always clear or always fair. We have a lot of crimes in Illinois that are mandatory minimum, you know, crimes where you commit this crime, it's a mandatory minimum in prison, no matter, even if you're 17 and never been arrested before. You know, so I'm not in favor of those. I think that if the person deserves the punishment, the judge is going to give it to them. And what that does, that gives the state extra negotiating power in those type of cases because they're holding a prison sentence over your head.
Right.
But I also think you talked about, you know, getting to the truth. I think there is no one truth in any case. I think there is one person's version of the truth and another person's version of the truth. And you especially learn this when you practice family law, because they are both going to have their own version of what happened and how it happened. And to each of them, it is the truth. But there is no getting to like the one truth in those kinds of cases, because for most people, their truth is their perception. So even talking about, you know, getting to the truth, I think that is not as black and white as most people think it is.
That's why in a lot of these family law cases, and also in criminal, you know, other cases too, at the end of the case, both sides are really pissed off.
Yep.
No one's happy because no one's vision of what the truth is was 100% what the judge says.
Absolutely.
Or the jury says. So people have to fight with that. And when you're being attacked or you're in court, people harden they dig their heels in, and people start believing their side even more. I've had clients in jail who've been there 6 months and convinced themselves that what's in the police reports didn't happen. You know, that's just and they really believe it. So it makes it difficult. So when the final truth comes down through the judge or the jury or what have you, then it's hard for some people to take.
Erin?
Well, I missed a lot of that because I got booted off the internet.
Oh, so that kicked you out? Okay. I asked the question about like what case like has stuck with you, and not necessarily in a positive way, or it could be a positive way. We kind of like just went off on like kind of like the accuracy of judgment within in the judicial system, I guess. So like where Rebecca was saying, well, they were both saying like it's not as I said like I'm hoping at least that like 85 to 90% of the cases are, either at least the attempt and the direction and the structure of the system is directed towards finding the truth, and then they're both saying that like it's not that simple, it's not that easy. Truth is oftentimes considered based on perception and your feelings about things and not
so
hard facts and stuff. So
it diverged a little. Okay. I mean, a case that stuck with me, I mean, there were a couple of them. One of them was actually probably the reason I left the state's attorney's office. And that was a crim sex abuse case. And this one was a situation where a 17-year-old impregnated a 13-year-old. And
ooh, Jesus Christ.
It happens all the time.
They were dating. They were dating, and he so we get to court, and he was headed to college, like he had a lot going for him. I didn't have an angry victim. I had a victim that was, hey, this happened. We wish it didn't happen. Do we want him held accountable for making this mistake? Yes, but do we want his life ruined? No. And at the time, I was pressured by the office to not do anything that would allow this kid to have a charge. So to amend the charge to something that would allow him to move on with his life. So instead, I ended up going to trial, winning, and the next thing I knew, like a year and a half later, he never went to college because he ended up registering as a sex offender for the rest of his life. He was like, back when we had World Market, he was working at a World Market, and it really devastated me. Like, I feel like justice is supposed to be justice. It's supposed to address what actually happened. It's not just supposed to say, well, there's a charge and this is the charge and this is the only option out there. And it really had a massive impression on me that really broke my heart, so that was one. And then family law, I had a case where it was just cut off your nose to spite your face, and it was a $4 million estate, and they drained themselves down to like $500,000 fighting and litigation and purposely losing jobs and that kind of stuff.
It's so vicious and just ugly. I know. Yeah. That's why it's got the highest burnout rate. Is that and the children that we talked about that. So I applaud any family lawyer that can like really stick in there, because that is tough shit. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, those are really the two that really stayed with me. They were kind of life lesson cases,
Yeah. So that brings up a question I've had for a while. I guess I just keep forgetting to ask you guys. Let's say you have two teenagers. Let's say one is 17. Well, let's say they're both 17, and then one of them turns 18 before the other, and they're continuing to have little fun there on the weekends. Can the 18-year-old, is it illegal for the 18-year-old to have done that with somebody who was their same age beforehand? Does that make sense?
I mean, yes. Technically, yes, it is.
Oh, okay. The age of consent in Illinois is 17.
I understand. I'm just using 18. Most people think it's 18, so that's why I stuck with that. But you're right. 17. It is, right. Folks. It's 17 in Illinois. Okay, don't.
So if they were 16 and having sex, and then one of them turned 17. Then it's yes, technically.
See, what usually happens, David, is people 17, 18-year-olds having sex with a 16-year-old. She gets pregnant. Parents say you have to marry her. He says no. Then they go to the police, and that's when the charges are filed.
It's used as a tool.
Yes,
right.
It's used as
but it is so. But he can't, that, or she, I guess, could be arrested then, because that is it's still illegal, even though they were both of age or underage at the same time. Is it illegal for two underage?
Well, yeah, this is what gets me. You can get charged in juvenile court. Let's say there's two 15-year-olds having sex. They usually just charge the boy. They technically can charge both of them, if they wanted to, but they don't. That's where,
That's
you know,
silly.
and then you got some 15-year-old looking at being a sex offender for the rest of his life, you know, when he's 15 and doesn't
That's
even know what he's
fucking
doing.
crazy. Sorry, I didn't mean to. That's
What,
just not, like your whole life gets ruined because I don't know the actual number, but I'm guessing it's a pretty high percentage of people that actually, you know, have sex in high school, start having sex in high school. I don't know the number, but it's got to be at least around 50%.
and all those
It's
people
gotta
could
be
get charged. All those people could get charged.
I
And
mean,
now
the
the
fact
people
is, most of
selling,
them
yeah.
don't because it doesn't get to that, obviously. But
Well, the big thing now
under
is
the
that
letter of the law, they certainly can be.
well, people sending nudes, these, you know, teenage girls back and forth, that's child pornography, you know, technically.
Right.
Another issue, which I think your viewers may not agree with me here, is let's say that you're a sex offender and you serve 30 years in prison for raping a kid or something. And on the day you get out, they hit you with a sexually violent person petition, which is a civil commitment. So what they can do is when you're done with your sentence, they can say you're sexually violent and we're going to civilly commit you to, well, it's prison, even though they took a prison in Southern Illinois and they changed the sign from the Department of Corrections to the Department of Human Services. And this has been totally gone to the Supreme Court and been upheld. And what it basically comes down to is you call something treatment, you could lock someone up forever. Now, I've talked to, you know, non-lawyers about this, and most people are like, good. But you think about that is that you basically are locking someone up for the rest of their life, even though they've already done their sentence. And it's expensive to lock someone up. We're paying for that.
Oh, yeah.
But most people seem to think that's okay. And, you know, it's just this legal fallacy that we have. And most people think that's okay, though. So I have a, you know, constitutionally, I have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Well, morally, I have a problem with it. It's ridiculous. But anyway, okay, cool.
What do you think about that, Mr. Rich?
I think it sucks. But, you know, who am I? You know? So, yeah, no, I don't know. Like, well, okay, whatever. Okay, okay. So the next topic was, or question was,
Yeah.
you know, what's that?
There's an echo somewhere now. Can somebody turn up their volume?
No, but try this. Is it gone?
Nope.
Yes.
David, is it gone?
I can't hear anything.
I hear the echo.
You hear the echo?
I don't hear anything.
Okay, that's better.
I don't know what.
That's weird.
Is it
Now
me?
it's back.
It's me.
How did it just start? What do you mean?
I don't know.
I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting anything out of my things.
Oh, that's probably why your earbuds stopped working. So your
Now I'm
sound
connected.
is coming out of your computer. There.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Now
That's
it's okay. Oh no.
You need to resync your earbuds.
I'll be back. 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, so while he's gone, what else did you have for us?
Well, did you want to? Did you have a case or anything that stuck with you?
I would say the cases that stuck with me most would be the kid cases, the ones where
Why do I not hear?
kids. Those are the ones I would lose sleep over more than anything else. And
I can't hear anything.
we can hear you slamming your keyboard there, Dave.
I
Okay,
can't
so
hear
I'll give
anything.
you, here's one where I represented the kids and mom filed, I believe, an order of protection. She believed that the child was being sexually abused by the dad. And she was saying that she had taken the kid to the doctor. The kid was like 4, 5, 6, somewhere in there, little girl. Mom was claiming that the little girl's clitoris had been broken and
Holy shit.
You know, all those kinds of, not her clitoris, but her whatever.
Elvis.
Thank you. And like making all these claims, and she said, you know, she was convinced that dad was abusing the kid because every time the kid would come home from dad's house, the kid was like running into the bedroom and locking herself in her bedroom and wouldn't come out. So I get brought in to investigate, and through my investigation find out, because the police are involved, there's all kinds of people involved, find out that mom was so paranoid about the kid potentially being abused that every time she would come home from dad's house, mom would strip her down, spread her legs, and examine her.
Oh my God.
Fuck, dude. That's crazy.
So of course she got to the point where she would run into her bedroom and hide because she didn't want mom doing this to her. And so when the police found out and DCFS found out and everybody else found out, there was talk of actually charging mom for what she was doing to this kid.
Yeah.
And mom had absolutely no clue that what she was doing was inappropriate. Absolutely no clue. So, and that is just one example of the time that like claims were made when people were so ridiculously unaware of how their own actions were influencing their kids, but they were so automatic to blame it on the other parent. It happened all the time. But that's a big one that stuck with me.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It was awful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful. Like, how do you not? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh-oh. David, you're breaking
There's
up
all
on
sorts
us.
of problems.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
You all there?
Yeah.
What's going on here? Okay. All right. So another question was, and I thought it was an interesting question. So, like, as far as like the different types of lawyers there are, like, I don't know what the highest one would be as far as like public, from the general public. Like maybe constitutional lawyers or maybe family lawyers. I don't know, but we're probably at the bottom of the hierarchy are personal injury lawyers. Okay, because it is considered grifters and con artists, and people ought to just sue for tons of cash over stupid petty stuff. Is there any sort of like as far as or maybe it's just implied in places like cahoots, intentionally or unintentionally, between like personal injury lawyers and like insurance companies, because everything has to be insured nowadays, and personal injury lawyers like to jack up the cost of their settlements. And then the insurance companies have to pay that. And then, of course, premiums go up, blah, blah, blah. Are you aware of any sort of like connection between those two?
What I'm going to tell you is insurance companies are some of the biggest crooks in America. I'm just being, what do you want me to? I'm not going to edit myself. It's true.
Apparently not.
It's true. They have some of the biggest profits out of any corporations in America. And, there's some bad stuff that goes on. They will not pay out on good claims just because they figure some people are going to drop by the wayside. There's all kinds of stuff that goes on. There's stuff that goes on on the plaintiff side too, which is unsavory. But there's a lot of really, I tell you what, there's insurance companies do some really bad stuff. And,
they're nasty little buggers.
So, they like to say, "Oh, we're protecting everyone." Well, they're mostly protecting themselves. That's what it comes down to.
Right.
I wouldn't doubt that there are some instances where there's like some kind of kickback scheme between a personal injury lawyer and an insurance company. I mean, because people do stupid shit every day. But it's certainly not something that I've heard of being a common thing. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
No, not common.
Okay.
Erin, what do you think?
I mean, I think that you get good and bad in every profession, and that's true for us in every practice area, and that there are really good PI lawyers out there that really care about their clients, and then there are others that are, Saul Goodman from, Breaking Bad. Yeah. Better Call Saul. I mean, so you kind of get your, you're good and you're bad like any area. And I don't know that I think, I've always found insurance companies not to be easy to deal with. I am going to edit myself. But I don't really that I don't know that I feel that way. I mean, I did work for a PI firm for a short period of time. And they kind of gave me not the best cases. And I remember doing a deposition and I didn't know which accident caused which injuries. And I was supposed to be there on one specific accident. And that was one case where I thought, this wouldn't be for me if this was my firm and my, but he was a longstanding client, I guess. So, I mean, I think it goes.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're obviously any area of the human condition is going to have good and bad involved,
right?
But like I'm thinking of that like famous case. I don't remember if it was around here or not, but like the lady who got like $3+ million because she spilled McDonald's coffee on her, like crap like that. Like,
do not get me started on the McDonald's case because I will defend that decision till the day I die. Because
correct me
if you actually look into that McDonald's case. This woman got 3rd-degree burns over parts of her body that literally never healed.
Oh, okay.
All she asked for in the beginning was, I just want enough to cover my medical bills. She was older. The burns were really, really bad. She had to get skin grafts. She could never walk right again because it happened on her legs. Oh. And they originally approached McDonald's and we said, all we're asking for, it was like $30,000. She was like, help me pay my bills. And McDonald's gave her the big middle finger and they were like, we're not giving you a penny.
Oh, okay.
So she took them to court and McDonald's corporate was so cocky because there had never been any kind of decision in favor of a plaintiff in a case like this, and there wasn't going to be one now, and blah 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 blah. And this woman ended up proving that McDonald's, their policy was to keep coffee at a temperature that is dangerous to people, basically, and that was their policy. And found out that there had been like literally hundreds of other people over the years who had been burned by this coffee, but nobody had ever found McDonald's liable. So they never did anything about it. And they went through this whole court case being like, screw you, we're not cooperating. We're not agreeing to anything because we've never been found liable. And finally, the judge had enough and said, this has clearly been a pattern and you've done nothing to fix it. And this woman's injuries were no joke. And she was not asking for much, but you were being an asshole and not giving her anything.
So now you're going to pay.
Consequence, right?
Yeah. Okay. No, that's good. I didn't know half of that.
See, people don't know there's a lot of in the system of leeway. Now, what I always tell my clients is, okay, well, this is how you want to go to trial. You want a jury to hear your case? Fine. You could have 2 different juries hear the exact same case. One says guilty, one says not guilty.
Yep.
Same evidence, same everything, hearing the exact same case. So,
or 2 different judges.
2 different judges.
It's not a jury trial. 2 different judges are going to find ways in a case. Yeah.
So there's a lot of, just looseness in the system, and we've got the best system in the world. So you think how it is in other places that we've got things like that happening. So crazy.
And just so you know, what you can look up, there is actually a documentary called Hot Coffee that's specifically about that McDonald's case, and it's really interesting and very eye-opening for people.
Yeah, no. I'm glad you said all that because I'm glad I brought it up.
Yeah.
For you to say all that because I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was always
a lot more to it than
the
you know the coffee's hot? Like that's where most people go, right? Yeah.
Right, exactly. Like the consensus I think in the general public is that it was ridiculous that she got paid so much and it was just a little burn and whatever else. And I know it's third degree, and she could had a hard time walking again, and then I could see a big corporation be like, nah, we're not going to pay you anything, and then get scared. So okay, I have no love lost for McDonald's. I have no love for McDonald's. Sorry, no love for McDonald's. Their food sucks, and so
we are not editing today at all.
But anyway, okay. I had my own personal question too. What's the sort of legal pathway for some? Let's say like either a local village board, Gurnee, Mundelein, Graysick, whatever, or even the county board. And I'll stop at county level. Makes a policy that some people in the general public think is not good at all and should be removed. What's the legal process or pathway for a citizen to go about, I don't know, legally calling out a bad policy, politician's policy? Whether it be by sue, do they have to sue them does that make sense?
Well, if it's illegal, it's unconstitutional, there's no basis in it, or it's done for a discriminatory purpose, you could sue. But most of the time you're just going to have to exercise your political power, which means voting, protesting, calling your rep. People think that doesn't do something, but I've talked to reps, and when they get a bunch of calls in on something, they notice.
Yeah.
So
that's good to know. Actually, I just kind of assumed that they were like, yeah, whatever.
That's the most important thing to them, is that their constituents are happy because they want to get voted back in.
Yeah.
And there's old saying, the greasy wheel gets the grease, right? The squeaky wheel gets the
grease.
Squeaky wheel
gets the grease.
Yeah.
Greasy wheels are already greasy.
If you have to be loud. And that's also another problem with our political system, is that some people on the minorities positions are the loudest, and those are the people that are get more political power. So I think that you have.
That seems like it's just such a long, arduous process to get that done.
Mm-hmm. You have to exercise your political power.
Yeah.
And
like for example, this gerrymandering just nonsense that's going on, like in Tennessee or wherever else. So that could be a legal pathway to like addressing, like they could, like, this is unconstitutional, we can sue you in court, right?
Yes, even though our very partisan Supreme Court just took out the Voting Rights Act, based on faulty facts and bad logic, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, before that, people would sue all the time on those type of things. And but people would do it right before elections because it might take 2 years to go through the courts, and that's a problem with the courts, is they're slow, and people take advantage of that. But right now, this is I mean, gerrymandering is bad for everyone when the politicians get to pick who their voters are,
right? Instead of the other way around,
opposite way around. Yes.
And there's a difference between gerrymandering and redistricting. Redistricting is good because populations change in different areas. The whole notion of redistricting is to make it as close to as equal as possible.
And the big problem with gerrymandering is it makes people more extreme on both sides, because you're not worried about the general election, you're only worried about the primary. Someone coming at you from the right or someone coming at you from the left. So it makes both sides move farther apart and more extreme because you're just worried about a primary. So that's a problem with, and then you got more extreme, politicians then, and nothing gets done, even though most people are more in the middle. So that's a real problem with how our politics and how we have our system set up.
Yeah, like maybe if it would be easier for third-party candidates to be able to get on ballots, it can balance some things out instead of having two extreme sides.
That's never going to happen in the U.S.
It's ridiculous.
Both parties have
the Green Party exists. The Green Party exists in like 72 countries, and it's huge. It's like in Canada and England and Europe. It's a big deal. Like in here, like nobody cares. I don't know why.
We don't really have a left-wing party in the U.S. The Dems are more of a center-left. Yeah, but a real party that has political power. We don't really have that in the United States like they have in Europe. Where you have real left-wing parties that have power.
Yeah, the Labor Party and
we don't have that here.
No.
We've got more. Our Dems are more center left. They're not far left. So that's just how our political system was set up.
Erin, did you want to add anything?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm out of questions, but is there anything going on interesting to talk about in your respective firms or anything that you wanted to discuss? Is there any chatter amongst any of your about data centers and stuff like that? Hold on, that was actually Isaiah.
Excellent
I
ringtone.
just talked to you the other night, dude.
Isaiah, hey.
I'll have to call it back. But is there anything? Are you hearing any chatter, Jen, Erin? Your office, your political office, or anything? Hear anything about data centers or anything? Not that I don't know why it'd be relevant to your office, but I'm just is there chatter about it going on at all?
Not that I've heard.
No, it's one of those things. No one wants it in their town because they take
Yeah.
a lot of water and power and what have you. So we don't want that.
Any
we don't want
kind
that
of
nuclear waste in our town. That kind of thing.
Rebecca, like as far as like kind of like the different areas of law being categorically distinct, is there still any sort of overlap between like ethylene oxide problem in Waukegan or Gurney or wherever it is, and like it affecting children and families and property and stuff like that? Would you ever deal with the case? Would you be able, as a family lawyer, be able to sue an area or a company because they're poisoning children? No, okay.
No, it's because it's the specific area of law that it would apply to. It wouldn't be a family law, as we use that term, deals with things particular to the family unit, child support, custody, those kinds of things. That's what we refer to as family law. That's more of a personal injury, whatever kind of thing. So the family law statutes don't deal with that kind of issue. That being said, there is a lot of overlap between family law and other areas of law because we deal with things like taxes and bankruptcies and foreclosures and personal injury sometimes and torts and abuse issues and adoption things. And so there can be a lot of overlap with family law and those things.
Gotcha.
But not
But if a settlement came in on, say, a methylene oxide case, we would divide that up if there was a divorce.
Yeah, that would be the only way that would be overlapped. Yeah.
Yeah, or you could create like a child trust if there's concern about money for a child in the future. Out of that money, whether they're married or not, like you could still, if someone got a settlement, request that some be put into a child trust, whether it's for college or medical expenses or whatever it is. But yeah, very little we do with it, but a little bit.
Whenever a kid is injured in a personal injury case, they put that money goes into trust and it only could be released for the child through a court order. So the parents would have to come to court and say, hey, we want to buy this for the child or this or that, because people would get these judgments and just go, woo, I'm off to the casino. I'm doing this,
I heard about that same sort of thing, and they finally did something about it, but with childhood child actors and actresses, Shirley Temple and stuff like that. I don't think it happened to her specifically. There's one, I'm trying to remember his name. He played this little kid in Charlie Chaplin. He had the hat like this. What's that?
I'm thinking Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin, yeah, probably more recently. But I know it started with that kid from Charlie Chaplin. Again, he had the big floppy hat like this. I don't remember what his name was. But he made all this money as a child actor, and his parents spent it all of it. So by the time he got 18, he had nothing left. So he sued his parents. And I don't think he got anything because there was no money left. But they made a law where something they had to keep at least 50% of it for or something. They put a cap on what they could spend for the. I mean, first of all, it's your child. I mean, the child doesn't have the right to own its own money. But at the same time, they're the ones making the money. So what do you do? So,
I had an opposite thing happen once too, where I had a personal injury case where I had a 17-year-old who got $75,000 for a case, and it was in trust. And when he turned 18. He went to court and said, I want all my money. I'm 18 now. And his mother's like, don't, he just wants to spend it on a car. He's going to blow all of it. And the judge is like, sorry, he's 18. And what did he do? He bought like a Trans Am for $50,000. And within a week, he had totaled it, and all that money was gone. But, he's 18 and he's an adult. And,
that's just it. You're
okay to make bad decisions.
Yeah. People should be allowed to make bad decisions. I mean, that's how you learn.
That's what it is.
So Erin, did you go?
No, I was just saying that's true.
Yeah. That's part of the whole point of like the legality of property or ownership, sovereignty and responsibility is that you're responsible for your stuff. And if you screw it up, you screwed up.
Welcome to being a grown-up.
Yep, exactly.
There are adults who do the same thing. So
oh my God, I know. Yeah, this whole idea that adults are like, exponentially wiser than children is nonsense. To a certain degree on average, yes. But right. I mean, not I know some pretty silly adults. So all right, cool. Anything going on in Lake County that's interesting, legal or otherwise? Any current events going on?
Current events?
Well, I mean, we are coming up on summer. There's going to be all kinds of fun stuff.
Oh, it's taking its own sweet time, though, isn't it? It was chilly today. Still,
it's cold. Yeah,
ridiculous. It's
depressing. Construction season. That's what's going on in Lake County.
Before you know it,
I can't even get out of my own damn neighborhood without some road being blocked today or something. It's insane.
What do they say? Chicago has two seasons. Winter and construction. Winter and construction.
Yeah, no, it's true. I tell you, like around here, there's plenty, but like even driving, like when I would do like run stuff for like Bruno's office, like going down to like Oak Park and stuff, you get closer to the city. It's just construction everywhere. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I get angry. I'm like, why would anybody want to live like this? Like, it's so disgusting. It's ugly. And it's all, it's loud and it's just always happening.
They are in the process of replacing all of the water pipes in Waukegan.
Oh.
Is that what they're doing?
Yes, because there's so many people that still have the old
lead one.
And they're replacing it with copper. So actually last summer I had to be here because they had to literally come into my home and thread the new copper piping. But what's going on now is they're replacing the piping along the street. And I'm not even kidding you. Every single day I pull out of my garage and I have no idea which road to get me out of my own street just to get out of, to start going to work. I don't know which road's going to be open and which road's going to be closed. It changes every single day.
Do they put it on the Lake County Passageway?
I have no idea.
You should check there's a website for Lake County on the Lake County website that.
Yeah, I know I have Passage. I just haven't looked.
Yeah, check that before you leave.
Why would I do that? I would much rather just get in my car and be surprised.
And then really angry.
Whatever.
On your way to get
your can change day to day too. Like they can change it. Like my way to work in Waukegan, Monday there was a different right-hand turn lane than there was on Tuesday. Like they changed it.
Nice.
Like I knew there was construction there. I knew that, but I didn't know they were doing that. Like all of a sudden I'm like in the wrong lane. I'm like, what the hell? Like,
yeah, and that construction over by you guys, Erin, at Washington and Green Hunt Club.
Yeah.
Like they've got a new traffic pattern because they've got a right turn lanes open now.
There've been 40 different traffic patterns in the last 3 months.
Oh God, it's ridiculous. Someday they'll finish it.
Okay.
Right.
All right, obviously we're kind of talking about, we're complaining about traffic and driving right now. So we're obviously done with the legal stuff.
I can give you, I have a couple updates. So we're starting an e-citation platform, which means that when the police departments pull people over, that they can actually input all the data into their system and then it uploads into my system. So that's starting
the paper tickets anymore.
No, that's great.
And they can print out a ticket for the person, but it's like they have printers in their cars with this thermal paper.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have e-certify now, which Rebecca uses.
Love.
Yes, you don't have to come into my office with a certified copy anymore. We're still working with the Social Security Administration and part of the Secretary of State Department for the DMV motor vehicles to get them to accept those certified copies. So if any of the viewers out there, if you need it for that, and they tell you no, then don't be surprised. But we are working with them trying to get that fixed. So we've got that going on. But otherwise, like all my stuff's kind of internal. Like we're trying a new AI product and like doing document review stuff. So just fun stuff.
I have heard that there is a new AI something out there called Harvey that's supposed to be specifically for lawyers.
Well, there's some lawyers getting into trouble. I took over
I know.
in McHenry County where the lawyer before me filed a bullshit motion, where all the cases he cited were made up by AI. They're not real cases.
That's happening all the time.
And that is really, I mean, he's going to get disbarred here. This is really bad. Well, then he made it worse because they filed a rule show cause for him to come in because they were going to hold him in contempt, and he refused to come in, and now there's a warrant for his arrest. And what is he doing? This is what we call, this is when like civil
digging deeper
do criminal cases. And how did he think that this was gonna, he wasn't gonna get caught? I don't know. But absolutely crazy.
Did he notice that the AI didn't give him proper citations to the cases? Like he didn't check the citations?
That's the problem.
Well, they're made up. It's all made up.
They look real. They're in the right form.
I mean, like, you can ask ChatGPT say something and then say include citations. And as far as I understand, I've never done it. I heard that it'll give it to you, but then you have to go check them.
Well, this
whenever you wrote a paper in college, you had to cite your sources.
ChatGPT go in there and say, these are the facts. Make me up a case, a legal case that says this, that comes to this conclusion.
That's just stupid. That's just stupid. He deserves to get disbarred, and he should be like, he should make the coffee at McDonald's because he's an idiot.
I mean, I went into court on the case, and there's like 30 local lawyers in the courtroom, and I'm like, I asked the prosecutor, I'm like, why are all these people here watching this case? And they're like, oh, they thought this guy lawyer was going to be here held in contempt for making up cases, but he didn't show. So,
yeah, no, I'd want to see that. I'd want to see that too. I'm like, okay, talk your way out of this one, tough guy.
Yeah,
like you moron. Okay.
That's why he didn't show up to court for it. We call that the head and sand defense, and it doesn't work. My clients do that all the time.
It's a pretty interesting issue that's out there. I mean, I don't remember if we talked about this on your show last time or if I was talking about it. Yeah, and I just remember pulling up a statute, and the AI pulled the statute down and it said what I wanted it to say, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure it doesn't say that because I know it doesn't. And so then I went into the statute itself, and nope. That's not what it said.
Yeah. So you checked because you got to do that.
And that's the point.
Yeah. Right.
But I would be interested to see what this Harvey thing is about, because if they're specifically like putting it out there as it's for lawyers to use,
then it's probably legit then.
Well, but they also have a disclaimer basically saying nothing constitutes legal advice, and you do have to check every citation and blah, blah, blah. That should be which should be part of it. But, I mean, I don't know.
I'm not saying our software sucks. It's just saying
that AI is any different from any other AI for something like
that. But I think the problem is we do all this programming with AI, and if somebody does something or picks something up that's incorrect somewhere and it doesn't catch it, that's the concern, right? Like what I use AI for in my office, it's written scripts that tell the AI exactly what it's supposed to do, and nobody else except the administrator can touch those scripts, so they can't just start teaching the AI something, right? But if you're working on a system where you have attorneys doing stuff, and I mean, it would really depend on how strong their security is behind Harvey to protect it from picking up things that an attorney may argue that's not true.
Absolutely.
Interesting. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if they pull a pleading from an attorney and the pleading is completely the wrong facts, and it somehow interprets it in some way that then changes the way that when Rebecca puts in her search criteria, that the search that the answer comes back. That's the stuff I'm worried about.
Yeah. Yeah, this is probably going to expand the judicial system considerably. It's probably going to add a lot of jobs and stuff too, because it's like now you're probably going to have somebody that's going to have to like check this stuff, like just like first of all, like kind of get the right software going, check the right software, make sure that you're not getting lawyers aren't getting bad information and so on, and make some lawyers' jobs easier and take on more clients, and judges can take on more cases and blah, 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 blah. Because like AI can do a lot of the checking for you once you're fine, that the software is legitimate, not obviously not before.
Right. And I don't know. I don't feel confident that it will ever be as much as people think it will be, at least in something like the law.
At least in the law, yeah.
Okay.
There's just, again, so much gray area with everything. And I'll tell you what, my associate tried using AI at one point to do what we do. And she said it was absolutely completely wrong. And there is no way we would ever be able to use AI for what we do. So, which is good for me. I've got some job security, but I don't, and maybe it's just because it's in the early stages. I don't trust it. I don't use it. I want nothing to do with it.
I think it's going to change jobs. I don't think we're going to have a reduction in the workforce. I think we're going to have a change in the workforce.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're going from where AI is going to be doing our data entry. So I don't need data entry clerks anymore, but I'm going to need clerks that are going to be, helping people probably more often with all the technology that we're throwing out to the public, that the public has to figure out how to use. And my staff needs help. And, so we have our IT department is kind of slowly building. And so I think it's those kinds of things that are changing. So it's more of a repurpose than, we were looking at it, and what happened, and like there was a total change in our courtroom just in traffic cases, because the Supreme Court rules came down with these really long orders for traffic court. They're like flipping ridiculous. I mean, you have a financial sentencing order for a traffic case that's like 3 pages long. I mean, come on, it's so dumb. And then, love you, Supreme Court. But then, we have these, and then we have these sentencing orders they have to do that are like another 3 or 4 pages long. And so none of the attorneys that are in there, they say the state's attorney is the one who by Supreme Court rule is supposed to be completing these forms. The state's attorney doesn't have time, or our village, we have several village prosecutors. They don't have time to fill these forms out when they have 150 cases they have to handle in an hour and a half. Yeah. And so now we're like, okay, well, I don't have data entry anymore, but we need help in the courtrooms for these attorneys to be able to get these orders done. So now it's kind of, we're sitting with the judiciary trying to figure out how are we going to make the business rules work in these courtrooms so that someone doesn't come in there and sit there all day waiting for their court order to get done. Yeah. Because there are a lot of pro se litigants in traffic court, and they're not going to be able to figure out the forms. I mean, pick a schedule. Well, we have 13 schedules. How are they going to know which schedule goes with their traffic? Right. So it's just kind of one of those situations where we're just changing. Like, I'm not really getting rid of staff. I'm repurposing staff, right? And it may not be in my department. Like, we can't do court orders. So it may mean that my 3 people go to another department that can actually do this work. So, but it's not for like a constituent's purpose. Like, we're not reducing the labor force, but from my perspective in my department, well, I had some efficiencies from it. So I'm reducing, right? Does that make sense? It's So it's just kind of different.
Gotcha.
Things are more complicated too. I mean, when I first started practicing, a probation order was 1 page. Now it's like 9.
Oh, wow.
Different things. And
interesting.
Okay. Yeah, it's just it's just things are just a little bit not quite as simple as they used to be.
Right.
But it's a lot
like that in the family law too.
But it's a lot more CYA now too. I mean, more people are being sued, and more attorneys are dealing with the ARDC, and more, I mean,
what's CYA mean?
Cover your ass.
Cover your ass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of those court orders are specific about, you used to write down a sentence on a court order. Now you can't do that. I mean, I go back, I can see some of the old court orders from like the 1800s or early 1900s. And I look at him and I'm like, what? Like, and now, it's like we have these just insane detail everything to the,
Try to close every loophole and address
Yeah.
every eventuality. And
I did. I went to Rebecca yesterday. I'm like, I can't get this wording, like I knew I needed something and it was missing and I couldn't get it out the way I wanted it out. So like, I need help, like
you went to the English major, which you should do.
Yes. Well, yeah. And my family law colleague.
what they used to
Who knew
do
what
in
I was trying to
yeah. What's different is that what they used to do is you never even have to serve a copy of like a lawsuit or anything on the other party. You just give them a notice because everything's handwritten and there's no copies. You would file your handwritten complaint and you just give the other side a notice and you have to go to the courthouse to look at it. That's how things used to work,
And now people are serving people through Facebook. Look at how far we've come.
Facebook. Oh God, the amount of information you can get on people online, like through Facebook. I had a trial once where it was a shooting and I was alleging self-defense, and my guy's like, he was a gangbanger and he had a gun, and his official story was, I'm not in a gang, I don't even own a gun. But then I go on his Facebook page, this is the complaining witness, the victim, and there he is flashing gang signs holding a gun is his Facebook page. Is his homepage.
They really are. It's unbelievable.
You're gonna lie, at least CYA.
Yeah, you know how that cross-examination went, So
okay, cool.
But what's really cool too with AI that there's a company out of Texas. They've built an AI that actually can go in and read the old cursive from like the 17 and 1800s, because we have so much trouble reading that now. So they're actually going through, they used the Constitution as their basis, and they went through the Constitution and, had it, make it legible for them. I thought that was kind of cool because some of the old documents that we still have in our office from, the 1800s, it's hard to read that cursive.
No, they don't teach that in school anymore. I don't think they even teach that.
A lot of them don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I know, like back in the colonial days or whatever, it's either for F's it looked like S's or vice versa, something like that. Because I remember, like, if I had a print of the Declaration of Independence and I was like a little kid, I'm like, what the hell word is that?
It looks like
S doesn't make sense for the rest of the word.
Yeah, it looks like Old English. That's what it looks like,
Yeah, the old, middle, and new English stuff like that. Yeah, it's difficult enough like reading Shakespeare. So okay, cool. All right, it's been an hour. So thank you so much, Rebecca, Erin, and David for coming on. David, appreciate you joining us. That was great, very helpful. We're going to try to keep this going as often as we can. The summer's coming up, so we, besides like being busy working, we're going to hopefully be busy having fun too. As soon as
all about fun.
So thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk Lake County. Who am I? I'm your host, David Rich. Till next time, keep talking. All right, hold on a second, guys. Don't go.